Alex here with the Western Standard. We are in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. Today is Saturday, May 30th, and it is the final stretch of the BC Conservative leadership race. This has been a marathon. I believe this race has been going on since January, which is pretty insane considering it's longer than we take to find the next Prime Minister of Canada. It's been an interesting race. There are 5 candidates left, and it is anybody's race at this point. We have Peter Millibar. He is the only sitting MLA and the current finance critic for the BC Conservatives. We have Yuri Fulmer, an entrepreneur. We have, there's a lot of candidates. Carrie Lynn Finley, she's considered the grassroots candidate, former member of parliament. Caroline Elliott, former vice president of the BC Liberal Party, now defunct. And somebody else. Who's the other one? Who am I missing? Millibar, Fulmer, Finley, Elliott, and Ian Black, of course. Ian Black, former BC Liberal MLA as well. Again, a lot of candidates. It's anybody's race. This has been a long one, and I am looking forward to it coming to an end. It is bittersweet. It has been a joy and a pleasure to cover this event, and I am very much looking forward to finding out who the next BC Conservative leadership, next BC Conservative leader is going to be, and potentially the next premier of the province. Late this thing is going to go on.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, I think we're live. Excellent. So this is Alex here at the BC Conservative Leadership Convention. I am with Nahan. Nahan is one of the youngest members of the BC Conservative Party.
I am 14 years old. I am turning 15 this September. Makes me just eligible to vote in the BC Conservative
It's a ranked ballot. Did you rank all of the candidates?
No, I only ranked two candidates and I left everything else. I posted my results online on Twitter, so my first choice was, of course, Terry Finlay. I really like her. She's federalist. She was a department cabinet, and her track record, everything, everything just gives me the. It just earns my vote for her. I've been to her rally. I held up a sign one time, and on my second is Gary Fulmer. I like that he took accountability for his mistakes and he was honest about it. So that really earned my vote for it.
If you don't mind me asking, why did you leave the other three candidates?
I just felt like Marilyn Finley was my best choices, and anyone else I didn't have. Sorry, no.
If one of the other three candidates that you did not rank wins, will you still be a loyal member of the party?
We'll see. If it's Caroline Elliott, I might have some skepticism because of how the campaign handling stuff. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of stick around for it.
Excellent. Do you think if there's an election, either on a fixed election date, provincially, or a snap election before the fixed election date, do you think David Eby will be running against the next BC Conservative leader, or do you think he's dead in the water?
Me personally, I hope he does because that gives us an easier target. I don't want him to resign and then end up like what Mark Carney did. For example, like Justin Trudeau resigned and then Mark Carney came and nobody really knew who Mark Carney was, so they all gave him a vote. And that's how we kind of won.
If they were going to pick a different leader, who do you think the NDP might go for?
Honestly, I'm not sure. To be honest, I don't follow that much into the NDP, but we'll see.
Well, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it. Good luck tonight.
Thank you for interviewing me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
May I have your attention, please? Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me? Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me? Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in singing our national anthem? Glorious and free, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Now, to officially kick off tonight's program, please join me in welcoming the President of the Conservative Party of British Columbia, Aisha Esty.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Tonight, the battle for the leadership comes to an end. I'm wearing all white as I'm the proverbial white flag. We're done with the fight and we got to be nice to each other now. As we enter a new chapter, unified around a new leader, following the most secure leadership race this province, and I would bet even this country has ever seen. My name is Aisha Esty, and as President of the Conservative Party of British Columbia, it is my honor to welcome you to what is without question one of the most significant evenings in the party's recent history. As I look around this room, it's incredible to see so many members that have joined us here tonight. And if you weren't able to attend in person, thank you very much for joining us online. To all the volunteers and donors, I want to thank you for your dedication. Every single one of you have contributed so much to build the moment we are about to share. A leadership race is, by its nature, a very competitive contest. Finding a way to differentiate yourself within a party is difficult. It is supposed to test ideas, test character, and test our movement. And ours did all three. But a leadership race is also the beginning. The moment the result is announced, the contest ends, and the work of building a government in waiting continues. That is the door we walk through tonight. And we walk through it together, not as factions and not as camps, but as one party who will defeat the NDP and bring prosperity and optimism back to this beautiful province of ours. Before we go any further, I do want to recognize the leadership contestants themselves. Running for the leadership of a political party is one of the hardest things a person can choose to do. It asks everything of you: your time, your family, your privacy, your patience. It takes courage to put your name forward, and it takes character to run a campaign with integrity. You all are truly in the arena, and we deeply appreciate the work you've done to grow our party and offer your own vision to our membership. And because of our contestants, because of the energy they brought, because of the conversations they started in living rooms and in coffee shops and in pubs and restaurants across this province, our party now has more than 42,000 members. Now, none of what you see here tonight, the venue, the staging, the hospitality, happens without the generosity of our advertisers stepping up to make this incredible evening possible. So I want to take a moment to recognize each of them. There are a lot. Thank you to our fundraising extraordinaire, Jackie Prokopenko. Thank you, Jackie. So bear with me as I read through their names. We've got Capilano Suspension Bridge, Neighborhood Holdings, Creasy Development Corporation, Oak Bridge Advisory, Fixman Auto Glass, Pink Solutions, Gastown Printing, Predator Ridge Limited Partnership, Guildford Capital Corporation, Riverhouse Marina, Sell Home, Hall Construction, ICBA, Strand Management Corporation, and Strand Project Advisors, Insurance Bureau of Canada, Kipco Investment, the Kingwood Group of Companies, Wall Financial Corporation, Lepoividen Group, McDonald Development Corporation, I'm almost there, hang with me, Westbuild Holdings Limited, McIver Capital Management, Westwood Ridge Property Management, Mosaic, and William Donnellan Pubs. Thank you to our advertisers tonight. Your support tonight isn't just about an event, it's a vote of confidence in where this party is going, and we are deeply grateful. So here is where we are. British Columbia is watching, and what they are about to see is a Conservative Party that is bigger, stronger, and more united than it has been in a generation. Let's get this evening started. We are kicking things off with a video in thanks to our incredible interim leader, Trevor Halford. Thank you very much.
I want to really bring stability to our caucus and our party. And the second is I want to hand it off to the next person in better condition than when I found it.
The BC NDP is free falling. The party trails the BC Conservatives by 10 points.
Trevor, just wanted to thank you a ton for your hard work and leadership the last number of months.
Trevor is a stand-up guy. We've been through a lot in the last 6 months.
Trevor brought us together at a time where there was angst and there were divisions.
He just put his head down and just said, look, we got work to do. Let's just do the work.
You've led our caucus with strength, with humility, and a remarkable ability to bring us all together.
Every decision that you made helped us to grow closer as a group and get closer to the goals that we all want to accomplish together.
You did a fabulous job. And as always, your graciousness came through to all of us.
I appreciate everything you've done. When I've reached out to you, you've always been there to answer a phone call, a text, or an email.
Everybody respects you. I certainly do. You've been a great wealth of experience and information for all of us.
What most people don't know about Trevor is that he's wickedly funny, and I'm really enjoying hearing him chiding the NDP in the front row there in the Legislative Assembly.
It's been an amazing, amazing session with you. Thank you.
I look forward to many more years working alongside you.
And I appreciate your leadership. I appreciate your counsel and your friendship. And I just wanted to say, job well done, sir.
And I want to congratulate him for a job well done.
The history of our party will look back and see you as a really important part of taking us into a government in waiting and ultimately into a new Conservative government for the people of British Columbia. You have a lot to be proud of, my friend.
You have elevated the party to the point where everyone knows we are a government in waiting.
You do not have to have a title to lead. Everybody can be a leader and find ways to lead. And I can tell you this, that as soon as this race is over, I will find ways to support whoever wins and make sure that our party is in the best spot possible. And I give you my word on that.
As we continue tonight's program, please welcome Holly Halford to introduce her husband and our interim leader, Trevor Halford.
Wow, what an exciting night for the province of British Columbia and our party. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Holly Halford. And what an opportunity it is tonight to be on this side of the microphone. Much of Trevor's inspiration for public service came from his grandparents, Walter and Beverly. Walter was an engineer for the province of British Columbia. He helped build the very highways and bridges that brought you here tonight. In many ways, interim leadership is about building bridges. His grandmother, Beverly, was his biggest supporter. And according to family legend, she may have helped him complete a few assignments when he was a young student at Trinity Western. Trevor and I first met in 2005 as young staffers in the BC legislature. And even then, I knew one day his passion for British Columbia would lead him to a larger role in the public service. Over the past few months, we've seen what leadership during transition truly looks like. I learned leadership isn't about holding a position permanently. It's about stepping up when it matters most, being effective, and helping build a bridge to what comes next. Trevor, our Conservative MLAs, and exceptional staff team helped guide this party forward with commitment, integrity, and heart, always focused on building a stronger future for families across British Columbia, including our own children, Nicholas, Ben, and Alexandra. So tonight, as we prepare to welcome the next leader of the BC Conservative Party, please join me in welcoming my husband and your interim leader, Trevor Halford.
I'll give you that. Thank you. Thank you, Holly. It is actually, people don't know this, we're actually here to celebrate Holly's birthday. It's her birthday today. So happy. It's her surprise, this is her surprise 30th. So thank you, Holly. And I want to thank Ben, Nick, and Sasha. It's been a journey. Dad hasn't been home as much as he should be. But I'm looking forward to sleeping in tomorrow. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for all of that. Good evening, British Columbians. Good evening, BC Conservatives. I want you to look around this room tonight. And not too long ago, our opponents were writing us off. They said there was no path forward, and they said that our party was finished. Well, I think we broke a few hearts. To me, tonight, I can tell you, this party is just getting started. Now, people can have leadership in their titles, and it can come and go, and people can continue to choose to lead, whether it's in their title or not. And there's somebody in this room that did that. There is somebody in this room, and it's actually that person is a reason a lot of us are in this room. And he didn't step back, he stepped forward. And he put this party first, and he put this province first. I want to thank my friend, my colleague, and this party owes a debt, and this province owes a debt of gratitude to our friend, John Rustad. Being the interim leader has been the privilege of my career. It's been an honor to serve with my colleagues. And you know what? I see somebody in the audience that might not have been here tonight, and I want to single him out because we are so lucky that he's been with us while we were in Victoria last week, but he's here tonight. He's had an incredible journey over the past few months. Pete, we are so blessed to have you with us here tonight. Now, when I accepted this responsibility, I made a promise to the party, I made a promise to the caucus, and I made a promise to myself. And it was a promise that we would hand this off stronger than when we found it. And tonight, I am proud to say, with the support of my colleagues in our party, we have kept that promise. 40,000 members, the largest political party in the history of the BC NDP. Sorry. It's larger than the BC NDP. Now, but with that number comes responsibility. That is a volunteer waiting to be asked, a door knocker, a donor. And that shows that this is not a party in decline. This is an army being assembled. And let me tell you this, the NDP have taken notice. They're nervous, they're afraid, and they should be. Now, we have built this, and we have built it together. And sometimes when it would be easier to walk away, we stood up and we fought. So before I say anything else tonight, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to every volunteer, every member of our caucus, everyone that has worked the phone, knocked on a door, that has stepped up. Thank you for our entire team. Thank you so much. Now, there's a couple other people I want to single out, and this party was built by a few, but now represents thousands. And I want to thank somebody who's become a friend and almost feels like a brother. And I know he's shouldered a lot over the last couple years, and he's got us to where we are tonight. I want to thank my friend Angelo Isidoro. Angelo? Job well done, my friend. And I also want to thank somebody who told me no when I first asked, and that is somebody who stepped up in a big way, and that is our Chief of Staff to our caucus, Ali Blades. Ali, thank you so much. Now in August, Ali's going to be moving on to much bigger and better things because her and her husband will be welcoming a bundle of joy in August, and we wish you all the best as you take on that journey, Ali. Congratulations, and we appreciate you so much. Now, I am confident because I know that whoever we elect as our new leader tonight will be the next Premier of British Columbia. Now, the only people that might not know that might come as a surprise, and I kind of take a little bit of pride in that, is David Eby and the NDP caucus. Listen, This premier, this government have squandered every ounce of goodwill they were given. A $13 billion deficit, largest in our province's history, a tax hike on the lowest income bracket, the people they claim to defend, a new PST on the small business owners who employ our neighbors, and 40,000 jobs lost in 2 months. Shame. British Columbia is actually leading the country in job losses. 60% of British Columbians say it's time for a change. And I think 100% of this room would agree with that. The next election is not a hill we will have to climb. It is a door that is opening. And our job and your job, starting tonight, is not only to walk right through it, but kick it right down. You know what? Because this is not about us. It's never been about us. This is about the young couple in Langford who did everything right and still can't afford to buy a home. It's about the senior in Kelowna that is having to choose between their prescriptions and their rent. It's a small business owner in Prince George that has to close up shop because they just can't make ends meet anymore. These are our people. These are the British Columbians the NDP forgot. And these are the people that are waiting for us to win. So let me say something tonight, not as your interim leader, well, for the next 20 minutes, but as a member of this party. This is the reality. We have a premier and a government out of touch and out of ideas, a province starving for change. And the only way we lose, this is important, is if we beat ourselves. Very shortly, members of this party will choose our next leader. Every single one of them stepped up when it would have been easier not to. Every single one of them deserves our respect tonight and our respect tomorrow, regardless of how you voted. Because when the results are read, I am going to stand behind whoever wins, full stop, no caveats, no grudges, no looking back, and I'm going to ask every single person in this room to do the same. If you came here tonight for your candidate, thank you. That's how it's supposed to work. But we came here as Conservatives, we're going to leave here as Conservatives, and we will leave here unified, stronger than we ever have before. Because the only thing the NDP fears more than a strong Conservative leader is a unified Conservative Party of BC, and we're going to give them that unity right here tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank my family. I want to thank my caucus. I want to thank British Columbians. But I want to thank the candidates who have put their lives on hold and their families who had shouldered that burden when they were away from their homes. And I can tell you this, and I'll say it again because it's worth repeating. Whoever steps on this stage tonight will be the next premier of this province. And we in this room, to a person, will make sure that we do everything possible to make that happen because British Columbia is depending on it. I want to say thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. And let's get this party started. Thank you so much, guys. I look forward to tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor. Next, we'll hear from the chair of the Leadership Election Organizing Committee. Please welcome Scott Lamb.
Thank you, folks. Thank you, fellow Conservatives. It's been an honor to serve as the chair of the Leadership Election Organizing Committee, as we affectionately call LEOC, to elect the next leader of the BC Conservative Party. As they say, this isn't my first rodeo. As president of the Conservative Party of Canada for 5 years, I oversaw and participated as a member in 2 LEOCs for the federal leadership of the Conservative Party of Canada. In that role, I served with many great Conservatives across Canada. So when I was asked to chair the BC Conservative Party LEOC, I was happy to gather together great Conservatives who had a depth of experience and great talent to serve on LEOC. So I want to have a great thank you to go out to Dawn Nightingale, Gavin Marshall, Ali Blades, Claire Ratty, Sharon White, and Aisha Esty. Folks, these people on LEOC put in countless hours over the past 5 months, creating the rules, administering and guiding the process to a very successful conclusion. I also want to thank the staff who essentially put their lives on hold for what seems to be a 24/7 schedule over these past 5 months. So thank you to Angelo Isidoro, the executive director of the party, Mark Jacka, the director of the leadership election, Sasha Peter, the returning officer, and Phil and Jackie, I know you're out there, and all the rest of the team. Thank you very much. And every good organization needs a good lawyer, and we were lucky to have Bruce Halser, King's Counsel, as our legal counsel. Thank you, Bruce. So it's important to look to where we started from the beginning of this process and the search for a new leader. At the time I first reported to the interim leader and our caucus of MLAs at the commencement of this leadership race in January, the party was in debt, had just under 7,000 members, and had little if no fundraising, and was down in the polls to the NDP. This leadership race was designed to address this and build this party to take on the NDP. Now, this leadership election process was not easy for the candidates, and it was designed that way to test the candidates, to raise significant sums of money, develop and execute on a message that would resonate with Conservatives, and mobilize people to become members of our party, and demonstrate the ability to get those people out and vote. In short, as a candidate, you had to show leadership and build an effective campaign team and message, much as you would in a general election to defeat the NDP. I will also say this about this leadership race. It was designed to ensure the integrity of the voting process and to ensure we had the cleanest leadership vote in BC political history. Now, you may all ask, how did all that turn out? Well, as of tonight, and you've heard it before, but it's worth repeating, the party has grown over 6 times its size to 42,000 members, the largest political party in British Columbia. And I'd say, take note of that, David Eby and the NDP. The party has paid off its campaign debt from the last election over 1.5 years early. Take note of that, David Eby and the NDP. And the party has run this leadership election without taking on any debt and put money in the bank. You know what? Conservatives how to know to do something without incurring debt. The party now has millions in the bank, and we're building our party an election machine to defeat the NDP in the next election. So take note of that, David Eby and the NDP. And now the party is the most popular party in BC. Recent polls have us 10 points up on the NDP. And again, David Eby, take note of that in the NDP. Your days are numbered. This Conservative Party, this caucus, and the new leader is going to rescue this province from the disastrous years of the NDP and bring hope back to British Columbians. Thank you for allowing me to be the chair of this leadership race. And now I'd like to turn this over to Stasha Peter, our returning officer for the leadership election, to provide his report and to introduce our auditors for this election. Thank you, folks.
Good evening. My name is Sasha Peter, and I'm a chartered professional accountant, and I've been serving the party in many capacities since I joined 4 years ago, and currently a director at large on the provincial board. And pursuant to Article 12.07 of the Constitution and bylaws, the board appointed me as returning officer to oversee the leadership election. Now, I know all of you are here for the results of the election, and I want to emphasize that nobody has seen the results yet. They are locked, and until the Simply Voting representative clicks the unlock button, this access is logged and audited. So this will be the first time that your votes cast in a secret ballot will be tabulated. We will do this with scrutineers of the leadership contestants, auditors, and staff present. Now, the role of the returning officer demands strict neutrality, and I've administered this election without favor to any leadership contestant. I am a member of this party and eligible to vote in this race. I chose not to. The person who certifies the result should have no stake in its outcome, so I did not cast a ballot. So that's the statutory part. Now, we're going to do the fun part here, numbers. So I'm a CPA. I'm very interested in numbers. So I'm just going to give out a few here. Okay, 41,718 members were eligible to verify their identity as of the April 18th, 5 p.m. cutoff. 26,273 electors verified their identity by producing documents before the May 20th, 11:59 p.m. deadline. About 2/3 of you were verified without human review, while about 9,000 of you were adjudicated manually in the presence of scrutineers of the leadership contestants. Now, I want a bit of audience participation here, so pay attention. Okay, instead of me giving out numbers, I want you to give out a number, and this one is simple, I promise. 4 years ago, the governing party of this province, the BC NDP, they ran a leadership race to choose a premier. Now, what is your best guess? How many of their members got to cast a ballot in this race? Shout it out. 0. That's right. That's right. Premier David Eby was acclaimed after his sole rival was disqualified. Not a single NDP member cast a vote. Now, look around you, around this room. 25,695 of you. Nearly 98% of every member who completed verification cast their ballot in this election. That is participation. Give yourself a hand. Finally, British Columbia has 93 electoral districts. Each electoral district is weighted at 100 points, except for those districts that have received less than 100 ballots. There were 5 of them that had less than 100 ballots cast. So there are 9,211 points available across the province. And so therefore, a leadership contestant needs more than half of these, or greater than 4,605.5 votes to be elected leader of this party. 4,605.5. Now, finally, I want to talk about the importance of trust and integrity in elections. Now, when the Leadership Organizing Committee adopted the rules, they set out in writing what a valid membership in this party looks like. And before any member could vote, they had to verify their identity against government-issued ID. Now, holding those standards was not simple. It required reconciling payment records against memberships and enforcing our identity verification processes. This was at a level of extraordinary discipline, and I do not believe that this has ever been applied to any provincial leadership election in British Columbia before this one, especially at this scale. We did the work because we owed it to the members, to the leadership contestants who entered this race, on the understanding that the rules would mean what they say, and to this party who deserves a leader chosen by a process whose integrity is not in question. In the next general election, we will ask the people of BC for their trust to govern our great province. Before we can do that, we must demonstrate to the province that we can conduct our internal affairs in a manner with integrity and where people can place trust in our own internal processes. Without a doubt, I believe we have achieved that during this leadership election. Now, my last note is for those members who, for whatever reason, did not cast a ballot in this election. Your membership in this party is no less valued today than it was yesterday. A leadership race is one moment in the life of a political party. The work of building our party in your riding association, in your communities, in the next general election goes on. And there is a place in our party for every member. With that, thank you very much, and I will hand over the floor to our auditor, Sam Kaketsis of our auditors, Crowe Mackay LLC. Thank you very much, everybody.
Good evening. Once again, my name is Sam Kaketsis, and I'm with Crowe Mackay LLP. Our firm was engaged by the Conservative Party of BC to conduct various agreed-upon procedures during this Conservative Party's leadership race. To begin with, I would like to confirm that our team involved in this engagement has been neutral and has remained neutral throughout the process. Our firm was engaged in this leadership election process to perform agreed-upon procedures on the various components and steps as laid out by the party that the members needed to follow to gain ability to vote in this leadership race. We performed these procedures covering the membership phase, covering the database that maintained the memberships. We then performed procedures on the validation software, being the persona software that you might have seen. And finally, we performed procedures on the Simply Voting platform that used for the entabulation. During the course of our engagement and within the scope of our procedures, we conducted, we conducted stages, so various stages along the process that the cutoff was April 18th, 2026. And from that moment on, we did verifications and the ultimate voting system and under the direct supervision of the returning officer. We also verified the algorithm that was used for Simply Voting and provided expected results of the test data set. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage MP Aaron Gunn.
All right, what a big night. Thank you, all of you, for having me here today. My name is Aaron Gunn. I am a member of Parliament for the newly held Conservative riding of North Island Powell River. You know, so I know a little bit about turning parts of this province from NDP orange to Conservative blue. And first of all, and I know these can be a little bit controversial, but I do believe it's important to start off by acknowledging that we are gathered here today in the greatest province and the greatest country of the world where history is about to be made, where 3 men and 3 women are going to come together and elect the next leader of the BC Conservative Party and the next Premier of British Columbia. And may I say, not a moment too soon, because under David Eby and the NDP, it has been one disaster after another, whether it's the cost of living crisis, where young British Columbians can't afford homes in communities that they grew up in, where the price of gas is now the most expensive in all of North America, and where BC is the only province in the entire country to increase income taxes in what we now know is a full-fledged recession. And they did all this while taking a healthy surplus that they inherited and transforming it into the largest deficit in the history of British Columbia. 10 long years, isn't that right? And what did we get for all of this new spending, right? What did we get for all of this new debt? We have a broken healthcare system with wait times that are longer now than ever before. We have a shortage of police and Crown prosecutors to keep repeat violent offenders in prison where they belong. And we have an education system that is less focused on delivering excellence in reading, writing, and math, and more concerned about gender ideology and tearing down our past. It should be up to parents to decide how to raise their kids, not David Eby and the NDP. And when it comes to protecting our kids, when it comes to protecting the next generation of British Columbians, we also need to end this insane NDP experiment of handing out free drugs and calling it safe supply. You know, since the NDP came to power, more than 16,000 British Columbians have died from drug overdoses. More than 16,000. And they say the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right? So how about instead of handing out free drugs, we get these, our fellow citizens, into treatment, we get them into recovery, and we return them to being healthy and productive members of our society once again. And to secure the futures of that next generation, we also need to bring back steady, high-paying jobs to BC. And that starts with actually building things in this province again. Instead of using taxpayer money to subsidize shipbuilding in communist China, we should have built those ferries right here in British Columbia. Just like we should be building refineries, and just like we should be building pipelines instead of sending and selling our most valuable resource at a discount to the United States. And because we are now apparently naming massive resource projects after premiers that oppose them in British Columbia, I think we name it the David Eby pipeline after we build it. What do you guys think about that? But building a pipeline is just the first step in what has to be many in ending the NDP's long crusade against our resource sector. Their fight against the very industries that built this province, forestry, mining, natural gas. We have enough resources right here in BC. We should be the wealthiest, one of the wealthiest jurisdictions in the entire world. Instead, we have a government that seems intent on squandering them. But we will never be able to unleash the potential of BC's economy before we address the investment uncertainty created by DRIPA, UNDRIP, and subsequent judicial decisions. When a citizen pays their taxes, follows the law, maintains their property, and still cannot be 100% sure that they own their own home, something has gone profoundly wrong. Private property rights are not a luxury, not some sort of optional add-on to our society. They are a fundamental human right, and they are quite literally the foundation on which Western civilization, capitalism, and our economy are built on. And you know, just a couple of weeks ago, when I was writing a speech I was set to deliver in the House of Commons, I actually I looked up the definition of reconciliation, and you know what it is? It's the act of causing two people or groups to become friendly again after a falling out or a disagreement or an argument. In other words, bridging divides and moving forward together, right? Well, that is the exact opposite of what the Liberals and NDP have managed to accomplish over the past 10 years, driving a wedge between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Canadians, playing identity politics, and prioritizing virtue signaling and rhetoric over delivering real, tangible, and measurable results. And you know, the NDP seems to think that you should be treated differently in this province depending on your gender or your ethnicity or your sexual orientation or when your ancestors first arrived in British Columbia. But I have a radical new idea. How about we just treat everybody equally and with respect? How does that sound instead? You know, I have to say the last few years in BC politics have seen some truly remarkable changes, but I have never been more confident than the Conservative Party of BC's ability to take the lead and turn this province around than I am today. And as some other speakers mentioned, I know we are wrapping up a very competitive and passionate leadership race, and that's a good thing. And it can be very tempting, like in every facet of life, to play the armchair quarterback of social media and opine about how the party is run. And that's okay. That's part of the process. That's totally healthy. But we should not forget that there are people here who have devoted a huge chunk of their lives to quite literally resurrecting this party from the ashes, to provide British Columbians, to provide all of us with a true conservative alternative here in BC, who were there with me 4 years ago when we first set out on this unprecedented journey together. And while there are much too many to all name, I would like to specifically recognize the hard work, dedication, and sacrifice of a few good friends, Asia Esty, Angelo Isidoro, Sasha Peter, and Harman Bangu, without whom this party and this movement would not exist today. And I think I have to speak for all of us when I thank the incredible and the indomitable Trevor Halford for being the best interim leader that the BC Conservative Party could have asked for, right? So let us go forward today unified, united as Conservatives to write the next chapter of this party and this great province, to unite behind whoever is chosen to be the next party leader and the next Premier of British Columbia, to renew our commitment to make life more affordable for British Columbians, to bring back safe streets, fiscal sanity, and good old-fashioned common sense, to protect private property, to honor our past, and unleash the power of BC's resource economy, to always fight, friends, for what is true and what is right, not what is politically correct. And let it be resolved for all of us in this room that we do what it takes, no matter what, to keep this party conservative, to keep this party united, and come the next election to defeat the NDP. Thank you, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned as we tabulate the first ballot results.
Oh, I'm telling you.
The moment we've all been waiting for has arrived. Please welcome Angelo Isidoru, our Executive Director, who will present the results of the first ballot.
Ladies and gentlemen, who's ready for some results? Come on, you can do better than that. Who's ready for some results? All right. So this is the moment we've been waiting for. This is round one of our election. Please take your seats. Before we begin, I want to note that these results will be available online, including riding by riding results after our event. We will be publishing everything. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We're going to start from the lowest points to the highest points. To begin, in fifth, with 971.34 points, equating to 10.5%, Peter Millibar. In fourth, 1,193.27 points, equating to 13%, Yuri Fulmer. In third, with 1,865.82 points, equating 20%, Ian Black. In second place, equating to 2,374.14, otherwise 25.8%, Caroline Elliott. Finally, in first with 2,806 points, 0.42, equating to 30.5%, Carrie Lynn Finley. Seeing that no candidate has crossed the 50% threshold, Mr. Millibar has been eliminated and a second round will be tabulated shortly. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, our second ballot results.
Folks, please take your seats. Good, good. Yeah. Folks, we have round two ready to go. Let's jump right into it. In fourth, with 1,282 points, 0.52, or 13.9%, Yuri Fulmer. In third, with 2,328.21 points, or 25.3%, Ian Black. In second, with 2,638.72% or points, or 28.6%, Caroline Elliott. In first, with 2,961.53 points, or 32.2%, Carrie Lynn Finley. Seeing that no candidate has hit the 50% threshold, Mr. Fulmer will be eliminated and we will proceed to a round three. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Executive Director to the stage for the next round of results.
All right, folks, time for round 3. Go ahead and take your seats. In third, with 2,767.51 points, or exactly 30%, Ian Black. In second, with 2,883.71 points, or 31.3%, Caroline Elliott. In first, with 3,559.78, or 38.6 points, Carrie Lynn Finlay. Seeing that no candidate has crossed the 50% threshold, there will be a next round. Thank you very much. Take your seat, folks. My fellow Conservatives, I have in my hand the winner of the race. And it doesn't get any closer than this. The individual in second place has 4,514 points, 49%. The individual in first place has 4,696.51, 51%. Ladies and gentlemen, your next leader and Premier of British Columbia, Carrie Lynn Finlay. Please welcome her up, folks.
Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you. Wow. What a night this has been. And what a journey this has been. I first want to thank all the other candidates who love British Columbia like I do. I know that. So I want to thank each and every one of them for putting their names forward and being part of the future of British Columbia. Thank you. Thank you to all of you. You know, my small team of determined warriors has been led by my campaign manager, Chris Dyson. And bolstered by so many MLAs who endorsed me and worked in their own communities. Give yourself a hand, you MLAs who endorsed and supported me. Really, you've been awe-inspiring. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are look, so many people have helped in this, and you're too numerous right around the province to name, but you know who you are, and I am forever grateful for your wisdom, your advice, and steadfast faith in our vision for a BC that will bring prosperity and opportunity to all who call it home. That's us. Next, I want to recognize my husband, Brent Chapman. Now, Brent is the MLA for Surrey South. But long before that, and since, he has been a source of never-ending love and support to me. So thank you, Darden. Thank you. Also here tonight representing us are two of my 4 children. There's Hannah and her sons, Aiden and Ronan, and Donna and her baby Ruth. It isn't just a chocolate bar, it's a real person, baby Ruth. And look, family, honoring them, protecting them, loving them, and encouraging them is the biggest part of my life. And I love you all. We are a strong, resilient clan, and I know their brother and sister are watching tonight along with their young children. They're too young to understand all of this, and really, I get that. But someday they will understand that their Gigi, which is what they call me, stood up for them and the children to follow, stood up to make our beautiful BC more affordable, more livable, more safe, and more prosperous. I want the generations now and to come to feel they can have a comfortable and happy life as British Columbians. Isn't that what we all want, right? So what am I fighting for? I'm fighting for nothing less than the future of British Columbia, our way of life. Mine is a grand vision of fundamental change. Our homes, our individual rights, our properties are at stake. We need hope and prosperity. As Minister of National Revenue, I oversaw lower taxes, red tape cuts, and a return to surplus from the worst recession since the 1930s. We can do this in British Columbia. Our province will become strong, good-paying jobs, modern infrastructure, resource wealth, and opportunity that has been blocked by the NDP. We can be a powerhouse in our nation, a powerhouse no longer denied by Eastern and global elites, predatory foreign nations, and our own constitution. NDP radical ideology has devastated property rights, backroom side agreements, and the NDP's economic vandalism has to end. A Finlay government will negotiate in the open, will bring clarity and certainty, because that is what unleashing our natural resources, attracting investment, keeping our professionals practicing without censorship, and promoting freedom demands, and will deliver. British Columbians deserve this, and we will no longer be seen as irrelevant in interprovincial and international trade and commerce. Make no mistake, I am fighting for our sovereignty, for our home. I will unify and take the fight to grassroots British Columbians who've had enough of being pushed around. I am leading to take this province back, speaking up for all, finding solutions that last, where hard work is respected. Less government, more freedom, powerful Western alliances, dealing effectively with the tough issues we face daily, violent crime, drugs, chaos, and disorder in our neighborhoods. right down the street here when we came in tonight. It's all within our grasp. Lower taxes, safer streets and communities, protecting our children, and putting parents and families as a priority. Clear policy commitments, discipline messaging, public safety taken seriously again, economic decisions that prioritize small business. And when the time comes, and I'm looking at all the MLAs now, when the time comes, real campaign support for our excellent MLAs and candidates. Does that sound exciting? It is, but I understand it's also work, serious work. The Conservative Party of BC will stand together because we know that we can make a difference. We can fight back and we can deliver real change. We'll do it, all of us together. Tonight, in this amazing space, Rocky Mountaineer, don't you just love their name? I love it. I see passion and commitment. I see people who are not prepared to give up on their communities. I see people who believe that BC can still be a beacon of opportunity, functional, safe, affordable, and family-friendly. With your help, we can turn that commitment into real change, to bring common sense across British Columbia. In our national anthem, we cry out to God to make our land glorious and free. Free people making free choices and free speech in a free enterprise market economy where hard work is rewarded and we are not crushed by socialist overreach that wants to dictate literally what we think, what we believe, what we can say, and who we associate with. I'm asking you now to donate and volunteer. Volunteer some time to our win. Faith, family, and freedom. That's what it's all about. And truly. And I can't wait to get started. God bless British Columbia and God bless all of you. Allons-y, let's go. Thank you. Thank you.
Alex here with the Western Standard. The results are in. Carrie Lynn Finley is the new leader of the BC Conservative Party. It came down to the wire between her and Caroline Elliott. That was the prediction a lot of folks had. There was an enormous eruption of cheers and applause upon hearing that she would be the next leader. Also some disappointment. I'm going to be trying to get some interviews with some of the BC Conservative membership, but it seems like the crowd was quite pleased and happy with the results. So with that, signing off, Alex with the Western Standard.